It is ready for next Tuesday's election.
But can it say the same about its $20 million electronic voting system? Tonight, I-Team reporter Bill Shield investigates concerns that the system can be breached.
In the age of computerized voting, guarding elections against people hacking in and potentially changing votes has become a grave concern. In a massive review, California found that its systems, including one almost identical to the Diebold system used here in Cleveland, could be compromised.
This Diebold system was fundamentally flawed in some very serious ways.
Diebold says the California review wasn't a fair test because Diebold gave California its passwords and because no one was trying to stop the hacking, as Diebold said would occur on an election day. Diebold also says that no election system could withstand that level of scrutiny designed to corrupt it. Still, what the California testers found is disturbing.
What was most serious is that in some cases they could break in or infect an election with a virus and then leave absolutely no trail.
Cleveland State's Candace Hoke, who serves as the public's official watchdog for the Cuyahoga County Elections Board, actually wrote a different portion of the California review. She says the California testers didn't need the passwords to break in, a fact that Diebold does acknowledge.
So it's almost as if you give someone your keys and yet they're able to hotwire your car faster than even putting the key into the ignition.
We have studied the California results.
Does it give you concern about your ability to conduct an election with integrity?
We've made determinations on implementing further security measures if we had to, or we've determined we already have those security measures implemented and it's safeguarded.
Good thing, because some of Diebold's recommendations cited in the California report appear to border on the absurd. There are backup vote counting systems built into Diebold's election computers. Even so, according to the report, Diebold says that if the memory cards, the cards that the votes are normally counted on, are lost, quote, the election must be rescheduled. If any voting machine and its memory card are damaged, then all voters on the machine will have to be called in to re-vote.
Can you imagine putting that down?
County Commissioner Tim Hagan is a vocal critic of the Diebold system that county voters must use.
To tell them you came out for an election, the memory card's lost, we don't know where your votes are, and therefore you got to come back, is insanity.
Regarding having machine or memory card problems, new elections director Jane Platten was more diplomatic in her description of who would suggest rescheduling elections.
Persons that don't entirely understand how to operate an election.
They don't have a clue. Fair?
They absolutely do not have an understanding of what we have to go through in order to make sure that a person's vote counts.
In an email, Diebold says the California reviewers took the quote out of context, that it meant to refer to the need to reschedule an election if all the memory cards were lost prior to the election, say in a fire. Still, the frustration over Diebold as the vendor of the election computers has led to at least general talk about going a different way.
If a vendor did not perform up to the promises that were made, and there were real consequences as they were for this county, well then a lawsuit might be one of the options.
The county prosecutor is moving through that process. Here's the catch-22. We want to have an election that works, but if we sue the people that's going to help us make the election work, it may put a strain in that relationship and cause us to have a problem in an election.
After the May 2006 primary debacle, where every absentee vote had to be counted by hand, the Elections Board spent $8 million on last November's election. An internal county budget review found that amounted to spending almost $50 to count each individual vote.
Is it fair to say, in your judgment, the way you've been able to safeguard this system is to throw a boatload of tax money at it?
I think in 2006 we did dedicate a significant amount of dollars to the system and safeguarding the system.
Well, you can make this system work. You can make almost any system work with a lot of money. But there has to be an end to the madness here.
But for now, as the machines are tested in preparation for the election, the Diebold system and Cuyahoga County are, for better or worse, joined at the hip.
My first obligation is to make sure There's an integrity in the system, and we'll pay what it takes to make sure that happens.
No matter what it takes.
No matter what, unfortunately, no matter what it takes.
In the wake of its review, California has severely limited its use of touchscreen voting systems, including Diebold's, and will hand recount all votes cast on those machines to verify their accuracy.
Well, Bill, there's a lot to chew on here, obviously, but does this mean we have to worry about the accuracy of the vote here?
Well, now, let's remember, in Cuyahoga County, we used this system last November, and no one questioned the accuracy of that vote. For this election, we do have some digital safeguards in place that California did not. Diebold adds that it provides more ongoing assistance to Cuyahoga County than to any other place in the country. So far as we know, our system has not been breached. What the California review showed was that it is possible to penetrate the system. You can read the California report on a link through our website.